Howard Jonas has always been an entrepreneur. At the age of 14, he started his business career when he opened a hot dog stand in front of Jacobi Hospital in the Bronx. From hot dogs, Howard moved to travel brochure distribution and business-to-business directories. When his best salesman moved to Israel and long-distance bills began to mount, Howard developed an ingenious way to route calls through the United States. A year later, international callback became a multi-billion-dollar-a-year call re-origination industry. And Howard's company, the IDT Corporation, became a leading provider of wholesale and retail telecommunications services.
My father had tremendous influence on me, and being a father, running a business. I mean, my mother had tremendous influence on me. My maternal grandmother, who was my best friend, just a tremendous influence on all of my thinking. She lived through the Depression, and I probably get an unbelievable amount of my values, my thoughts from her. My mother's mother was the one religious, relative I had. Religion's a tremendous part of my life now, and I felt very close to my Bubby, and so it was no question that, she was a tremendous influence on me also. We're involved in a lot of charities. The other day I was adding them up, and because I had to put together some kind of a resume, so I think I was on the board of 27 different charities.
In recent months, Howard Jonas has become personally involved in a very unique charity called Gift of Life, an organization dedicated to finding bone marrow donors for children and adults in need of life-saving transplants. One such patient is Ruthie Spector, sister of the president and co-chief operating officer of the Bear Stearns Companies.
Well, Warren Spector told me he'd been able to add a cost of somewhere in excess of $3 million, 30,000 people to the donor bank. And that this year, 36 people found their matches and were able to live as a result of the people he added to that bank. And that comes to $80,000 a life. And I asked him, how long do people stay in the donor bank? And he said, look, people can stay until they're 55, and most of the people who donate are young, so they're in for more than an average of 20 years. And I was thinking about that. That's $4,000 a life. It's incredible. It's the best deal I ever saw.
I was tested, I don't know, must go back 8 or 10 years ago. And I remember that the reason I went was, I don't remember the name of the child, but I know that they were testing for a match for a child. And I remember the picture. I think it was a little boy with, blonde curls, like he wasn't even 3 years old. And I just remember going down there because, like a child in particular, I mean, if there's anything you could do that would save a child, like, why wouldn't you do it? Of course you would do it. So, especially something so simple.
I remember one time I was online at a bone marrow drive. This is back when they used to take blood as opposed to swab the inside of your mouth. The person in front of me turned around and said, don't you really hope you're the one that gets to save the life? And I looked at him and I said, no, frankly, I hope you're the one that gets to save him, because it's a great thing to do, and I guess if I was the one that matched, I'd have to do it, but I don't think it's an easy thing to do, and the people who do it deserve all the reward, all the kudos, but the biggest reward, I think, is getting to see the person you saved. My son Mishi wound up that he's an exact match for somebody, and right at this moment, he's on call to give the marrow.
I thought it was the greatest news in the world. I mean, this is better than winning the lottery. I mean, how many times could you actually say that you really saved somebody's life?
It's a 16-year-old boy. I have a 16-year-old son, and I can't even imagine, God forbid he should ever be sick, but I can't even imagine like the anguish of having a child that's sick and not knowing if you'll find a match. As a parent, I just feel what the parents of that child must feel. They must feel like, thank God that Mishi was born. I mean, they don't know Mishi, but that there's somebody out there that could potentially save the life of their child. That's unbelievable. There's no other way in the world that they could ever have known about each other's existence without Gift of Life. And the fact that it's my child that can do it, it's miraculous. It's incredible.
It says that to save one life is like to save an entire world, and being that they've saved hundreds of lives, to save a child's life like the one in the Fula just must bring such joy to the family and to the donor, and to all the workers at Gift of Life.
Gift of Life, I mean, that's the right name for this organization. Do 50 or 60 transplants a year, that's incredible. That's 50 or 60 lives a year that are saved. I mean, they receive the gift of life.
If he should give them marrow and that should take successfully, he would have saved a person's life. And you really are saving a whole universe. You know, if he gets to do that, it means that everything that he does his entire life will be to his credit, and everything that the person he saves does their entire life will be to his credit. And everything that their children do and their great-grandchildren do and their great-great-grandchildren do, like into all eternity. Where can you get that kind of merit? I mean, you've created a whole universe.